Evening. I'm a bit, well, what am I talking about? Um, the meeting today at Randwick in Sydney was at Randwick. Headquarters we were at. Now, before we say a few words about today's meeting, where the figures were disgraceful, but the captain's got the cash. Now, going back to last Saturday, the provincial meeting was at Kembla Grange, 4th of October. The track was good, the rail was 6 metres out, and even though they turned for home and they were running into a headwind, that didn't stop the leaders from winning. And it was an advantage to be up on the pace at Kembla Grange last Saturday. Today week, you had to be up on the pace. Have a look with your 2KYs. You'll see that it was very hard for runners to make up ground. Then we went to, of course, last weekend was the long weekend. It was the long weekend where we used to have in days gone by, not that long ago, where the Epsom was run on the Saturday and the Metrop was run on the Monday, and you think they couldn't get there quick enough on Monday. But a lot of punters had taken doubles. If the Avery got in on the Epsom, there were lots of them alive, and you packed them in on the Monday. They got as many on the Monday as they did on the Saturday. But what happened this Monday? It is an absolute joke. Those in charge should be right up the backside. Booted, that is. Fancy only having to cater for 800 people. That's what they catered for on the Monday. 800 people. They made sure they saved some section by not having any one on the gates to collect any patrons paying their way in. It was free entry, but there was no one turned up. It's a joke. That was the 800. That was including all of the captains and their staff, and the trainers and the hickey hockeys and the stable hands. There were 4 people there. It was Monday, the long weekend in October. What an absolute joke! The rail was good. The track was good. The rail was normal. There was northeasterly blowing. It wasn't strong enough to stop runners from leading on the fence and winning. Not that there were, well, what was it? The first race, well, the leader led on the first, dead heated. They ran, and the winner came from behind it. So the leader dead heated in the first race, trained by Gay. Gay owns the lead. And we did see other races where up on the pace was all right. And there weren't too many runners that made up a lot of ground from behind. I've got to say, possibly up on the pace and a little bit off the fence might have been a slight advantage at the Kenzo at Randwick, but on the Kensington meeting, on the Kensington track on Monday. What an absolute bloody joke it is. Fancy no one, like, it's disgraceful. We went to Warwick Farm on Wednesday, the 8th of October. The track was good. The rail was 3 metres out. And look, when you're doing your form, it was quite evident. We had a northeasterly blowing, which was behind them more or less up the straight. A southeasterly, I should say, which was behind them up the straight. Could have had a slight effect. No, it didn't. It didn't have a slight effect against leaders, but leading on the fence wasn't the place to be. It was best to be off the fence at Warwick Farm on Wednesday, and that might have been the undoing of the favourite in the 5th race, Alberta Magic, where Senator Noche sat on the outside, drove it mad, kept it tied up against the fence and cramped it for room. There was a protest second against first, but quickly dismissed like everyone thought it would be. And that was most probably the undoing of that runner. We saw runners sit outside the lead, but an advantage to be off the fence at Warwick Farm on Wednesday. We went to Gosford on Thursday, and very similar. We had a strong breeze out of the northwest, which possibly could have been against leaders on the fence. The track was a dead 5 and the rail was in the normal position, and when that's the case at Gosford, if there is any moisture on the fence, it is against those runners being there that are on the fence. And we didn't see one leader get home at Gosford on Thursday. We saw a race, race 5, we saw the leader Spying just get nutted on the line by the runner that sat on us outside, the 8-year-old Higashi, and just beat it by 0.3 of a length. As I say, not one leader to win, and it was an advantage to be off the fence, and it was obviously easier to run on if you got pace, but a slight disadvantage if you were on the fence. We got to today's meeting. Well, we had no breeze. The track was good. There was a penetrometer was 4.91. The rail was 3 metres out, and today at Randwick, it was an advantage to be up near the lead. We did have in the Spring Champion Stakes race where we saw Hampton Court round up the 2 favourites towards the end of the race to win easily, come from behind. But God, they did run along in that race. We'll get to it later. Panzer Division ran his first 7 furlongs in 82 flat. It got along a bit. Race 1 here today. We captains, now we absolute poleaxed the punters early in the day, and we threw plenty of burley out to them, I'm telling you now, because we got very, very little per all day. In this first race, we only got 102, but the winner was a skinner for the books. Pirouette, it was $15 out to $18. And who was it trained by? It happened to be trained by a trainer who likes all of her runners to be leading. She loves the lead. She owns the lead. No way in the world is it for sale. And it led, stayed out of trouble. It's a little bit of well, it's not a whippet by any means, but it led on the fence and kept on plugging away, which was an advantage today, being up on the lead on the fence, and kept on fighting on to win by 0.2 of a length from the unlucky Sebring son, who went sideways and missed a kick by 2 lengths, then sucked up behind them, and then eased off the heels after topping the rise. Only went down by the 0.2 of a length, and the difference between winning and losing were a couple of factors: coming out awkwardly, a field of 10 and drawing barrier 10, and also in the last 50 metres, say, ducking out very badly, losing about a half a length and only going down by the 0.2. Take those factors into account and it gets the cash. Run the race again, it would still be favourite, shorter than what it started. Whether it gets the cash or not, I don't know, but as I say, would definitely start favourite. There were plenty of runners backed in the race, but the winner was fairly easy in the betting, as was the favourite by the same token, Sebring Son. We only put it up 2 to 1 the field. Deuce, we said, deuce. And it got out to $4.60 at one stage, back into $4.40. And there were quite a few other runners backed in the race. But the winner, as I said, was a skinner for the books. In walked an Indian with a turban on. Oh, my God. Now, race 2, we saw this great trainer, Gay, go straight to the lead with Order of the Sun. She said on the radio this morning, she said, this chap who hadn't been on this runner's back for I think she might have said for a Terry Deer for a year. And she said, when he got on, he said, oh my God, are you sure this is Order of the Sun? Because this horse feels fantastic. Oh, it went sensational. And Gay told the world. and it set a new track record. It ran 2 minutes and 0.36 for the 2,000 metres, going straight to the lead, rolling along. This is the best track we've had for a long time at Randwick, 4.91, the penetrometer, as I said, penometer, and it just kept on going, Order of the Sun. It chased it all the way. Grand Marshal couldn't run it down, beaten 3 lengths, and the Avery, best case, who sat back in 6th position, it plugged into 3rd hole, but was beaten 6.5 lengths. The rider saying 2,000 metres is a bit too far for this horse, although it has won and ran over that distance before and ran very well. We only gave the neat 100 here. We played sway with the punters, but they had the thing in their favour, and that was not having to pay any Toyota Lexus. Race 3. Now, this was a doozy. I'm going to give you the flux in this race. We only gave the neat 90. We said you can have 9 to 2 careless to kick off with. It got out to $7.50, back into $6.50. They said they were going to ride Good Project Quieter, but the rider couldn't hold it, Father Schofield, and he sat up outside the leaders in the 3 wide position. We put it up $5.50, 9 to 2, got out to $7, back into $6.50. Now, Hero I Am, now you wouldn't see this, but we put it up $4.80. Did you know you could get as much as $6.50 about Hero I Am? Now, you wouldn't see it. You'd say, oh, no, you must. But there it was. It was there for 5 minutes. It only started $4.60. I laid it well at $4.40 at one stage. I think it came into $4.20. I had to wind it off. Got back out to $4.40 at the finish. Super Willie was $6 out to $6.50, back into $5.50. Hard to get. Wine Tails, $7 out to $8, back into $6.50, or $7, give it its due, back out to $8. Sunforce, $26 into $14, hard to get. Zfast, 13 out to 26. Would the owners of Zforce please step forward? And also, would the owners of Slightly Sweet step forward? And thank God they didn't, because the captains had another skinner. It was $10 out to 18. Didn't have a price. It got the section. Volley of Fire, very well back, 17 early in piece, back into 15, but then back out to 17, but came in to start $13. We only gave about 90, but we kept the section. It sat in 5th position, in between runners, Slightly Sweet, ridden by Killer Kath O'Hara. They put an absolute poultice on it last start after winning its maiden down at Kembla Grange. They brought it up to Rose Hill, where it sat in a small field back near the rear and was trapped 3 wide all of the way and copped a little bit of a buffering coming down the side, and finish up running 6th. But its run was a lot better than it looked, but it wasn't enough for any grumble and grunters to say, oh, we like it. I finish up, I only marked this run a $13 chance. Not that I liked it by any means, but it got the chocolates, and as I say, was a big result for the captains, a big result. The second horse here, Wine Tails, it'll settle down back in between runners, back in last position in the field of 9, was slightly held up, turning for home. It was most probably, oh, well, did it lose a length? I don't think it did, and that was the margin it got beat. If it wasn't held up, the winner most probably still would have won the race. Race 4, we gave the neat 100 here again. The neat 100, less the Toyota Lexus. And who was the one by? Pythagorean. Pythagorean, an import, who won at Canterbury last start after being made a little bit of use of by Bold Blake Shin. went out and sat outside the leader today, who was Pedreus, and they ran along. But as I say, it was an advantage to be up near the lead today, an advantage. And when they topped the rise, they got clear. Pedreus finished up running third, only beaten 0.4 of a length. The winner held on, Pythagorean, after getting past it, to win only by 0.2 of a length, beating the favourite, Black Revolver, who was slightly held up, and that cost it the race, only went down by 0.2 of a length, and also making up ground from well back in the field, and also being held up was the $26, 25 to 1 chance into $21, Landlocked, who only failed to get there by 0.6 of a length, running fourth. Well, what else do you say there? Maybe Black Revolver, a little bit unlucky, also Landlocked. The difference between winning and losing there was the way the track was playing up near the lead, an advantage. The runner that went very poorly there was Shout to the Top, who sat right behind the pace in fourth position, trained by Danny Williams, ridden by Jay Collette. We put it up $4, got out to $5, and started the $4 favourite. It ran last, beaten 8.6 lengths. The rider saying there's a chance it could have choked down. He said it should be running over a less distance next start, maybe only 1400. And the vet said after he ran his hand over it, it pulled up with a poor recovery rate. The other runner that was well in the market there was Golden Arrow, Winona Constant, saying she erred by not going forward and being one of Gay's runners. Well, this runner came from back in the field, as you know, at Canterbury and other runs. It's not actually a leader, hasn't got a lot of pace, but she erred by not going forward early, and she got trapped 3 wide, and that was its undoing. Race 5, and we only gave 95% here. Not worth a caser. But who got the chocolates? Well, this was the runner who's been running around in honkers, Aoman, and it went straight to the lead by ridden by Bold Blake Shin. Anthony Cummings had 2 runners in this race, Aoman, and also the bottom one, Alpha Beat, who, well, it had its chance, but it raced back in the field, which wasn't the place to be. It was taken straight to the lead, Aoman, and on its outside was the Avery Charlie Boy, who finished up running third, beaten 2 lengths, and sitting in fourth position was Monton, who ran second, beaten half a length. When they topped the rise, it had been given a good ride by Bold Blake Shin, got clear. Charlie Boy wasn't going to be able to run it down, and it was up to Monton, who failed to get it by, as I say, a half a length. Up near the lead, on the fence, an advantage. The runners who were back in the field, they nearly finished in their positions in which they raced. So that emphasised a little bit, will emphasise again how the track was playing. And that race, as I say, we only gave 95%. The Flux Monton was $7.50 out to $10. Ironman was $13 out to $16 at one stage, back into $14. Riva de Largo didn't have a price. With the owners of Riva de Largo, please step forward. Mr. Kick pulled up mildly lame. $5.50 out to $9. Charlie Boy, $3.80 out to $4.60, back into $4, back out to $4.20. Whittington, $4.60 out to $7 I gave, back into $4.80. Sizemo was $12 into $11. Seismo, Disciple was $15 out to, or into $14, back out to $15, back into $14, back into $15, was always fluctuating around that price. King Armada, $26 into $21, and the bottom one, Alpha Beat, it went from $7.50, was out to $8, one stage back into $6.50, but started the $8. I knocked them back at the $7, which I shouldn't have, and I was $8 when they jumped. Race 6, we only gave 98% here. These were the flux. Swainesi, $3. 2-to-1 bar, we said, out to 360. I was $3 when they jumped, the only one on the ground. Started 290. Valentina, 17 into 16. Or 17 out to 17 and out 16, back to 17, back to 16. What's the difference? Panzer Division, $7 out to 10. Hampton Court. Now the winner was $15 into $13 at one stage, but got out then to 17, back into 15. Poonamoo, 30 out to 60. Direct, Lie Direct was 100 out to 200. Drum Roll was 80, taken at one stage. I laid a good bit of section against it at the $81 into 70, but got back out to 80. Then we saw the Avery First Seal, the filly, $2.10 out to $2.40, which you wouldn't see, back into $2.15, never went off, back out to $2.30, back into $2.25 towards the end of betting. And Press Report was 60 out to 80, back into 60, back out to $70, only about 98. And as I said before, Panzer Division, the rider Ty Aglan said, well, I was going to go forward, but when I got there, this runner ran along, and I let it run along. He ran his first 1,400 metres, 7 furlongs in 82 flat. Did Blake Shin, it's very easy now, take off too early and flush out the favourite First Seal, coming down the side on that very hot pace. When you see the replay, the winner, Hampton Court, at the 800 metre mark, it was being scrubbed up by Jovial Josh Parr, whereas Swainesi was travelling very easy. And when they turned for home, Swainesi was, after being dug up a bit by Bold Blake Shin, who, as we know, has been on First Seal, a couple of wins. He just strolled up to First Seal after flushing it out, and seemed to be travelling a lot better than First Seal, but was going to beat it very easily, and they were going to just run away with the race, because even coming not only at the 800 metres was Hampton Court being scrubbed up, but coming up the rise was scrubbed up, and Bold Blake Shin was sitting quietly on smoking his pipe on, or cooing like a dove on Swainesi, saying, well, I've got you, First Seal. I think the judge even might have reached for number 1, but he struggled to get, when he drew level, might have even put his head in front of the filly, but then First Seal kicked back on the inside and was able to beat it by about a neck. But all of a sudden, after they'd flattened out and about a furlong and a half to go, Hampton Court picked up a bit and charged past the 2 picks to beat them by 2 1/4 lengths. And the others were all well back. That was that race. Race 7, we gave only 99 here. God, we love spreading the burley about. The Avery won this race, Nina Rock. As much as $2.70 given on the fence. We put it up 6 to 4 the field, 1.5 for 1. Got out to $2.70, came back into $2.50 at one stage. Bugger Lugs here was the only $2.60 on the course when they jumped and laying it. And, well, written by Ty Aglan, emphasising again here how the lead was an advantage. Estonian Princess, who was sensationally backed, put it up $17. As I say, we only gave 99 here. So Estonian Princess was $17 out to 19. At one stage, if you had up $12, the 11 to 1, they took it off you. It was into $11, no better. I was 13 when they jumped, back out to the 12 to 1. It did lead. Chintz came across after doing a bit of work, number 2, to sit on the south side. Tucked away on the fence behind them was the 100 or 80 into 70 $1 chance Soapy Star, who ran last. On its outside was Boozy Rouge, who tried to push out, coming to the turn, colliding with the favourite. And Ty Aglen said, Winona, you can't even claim in this race. Don't try and push me out of the way. Now cop this. And he pushed Winona, who held her ground. God, she's a good little rider, that girl. She's got a bit of guts. He pushed her back in the pocket, but then Chintz went out after the leader, who had been advantaged by leading Estonian Princess, who fought on very, very well, only to go down by 0.2 of a length. It came from last on the fence in between runners to run into third hole, Dansiri, but beaten 3 lengths. Wasn't a bad effort. And it also made up a bit of ground. Gypsy Diamond, who copped a check at the start after missing the start, it only ran an even race, even taking that into account. The winner was the best run in the race, the second horse having an advantage of leading. We came to the last, and here again, an advantage up near the lead. It was always going to be near the lead, Boss Lane. Now, in this last race, we only gave 98, just to top it off. So what we always do is throw a little bit of burley up these to make sure that we can get the patrons to come back. They say those blokes on the track are absolutely, they're imbeciles. We never see these prices with the TAB and their fixed odds. I can't believe it. Our biggest grumble and grunter is taking fixed odds with the filthy cancer of racing. Is he stark raving mad? We're giving section away at the track, and he'll be back. It's just 100 to 1 on he'll be back. In this last race, if you're listening, Timeless Prince was 30 out to 40, back into 30. Boss Lane, $4 out to 460 for whatever you wanted. Into 380 at one stage, but I was 420 again when they jumped. Dream Folk, 50 into 40. Back out into 30, actually, back out to 40. Drago, $11 out to 13, back into $12, but I was $15 when they jumped. Maximilian, $8, $9 out to $9.50, back into $7.50 at one stage, but back to $8.50 towards the end of betting. Duke Albert, 26 out to 31, back into 26, back to 31. Atmospherical, would they please step forward, the owners? $5.50 out to $8 was Atmospherical. A Turbulent Jet, 17 out to 19, into 17, but back out to 19 at the end of betting. Paddy. Now, you wouldn't see this. I gave $7 in the outside ring for a good bit of section. It was $4.60 out to $7, back into $6, but I was $6.50 again when they jumped. And here we go. Law. Who knows the law? $4.60 out to $5.50, back into $4.60 when they jumped, and it had every chance. It sat in the 1-1 position, and they were the flux. We only gave about 98. I bet you didn't see those betting with the corporates or with the cancer of racing. Well, he'll be back, like every sensible punter should be doing with their section, giving it every possible chance. And that's betting with us captains at the track. What happened here? There was always going to be a race where there wasn't a lot of pace, or I shouldn't say that, where there were only a few runners who were going to go forward and a lot of runners who were going to go back. And Atmospherical, well, it led on the fence, which I didn't think it would do, but I thought it'd be tucked in behind it on the winner, Boss Lane, on the fence. Thought Boss Lane would lead, but it didn't. Ridden by T. Marshall, 3 Kilo Boy, he let Atmospherical go through and lead. He strolled across, sat on us outside. Tucked away was Maximilian, who was always going to be near the lead, right behind them on the fence. And it went forward, Law, in the 1-1 position. And then at the 800 metre mark, there was a good break back to Turbulent Jet. When they got down to the line, and inside Turbulent Jet was Telephatic, who got through on the fence, saved ground, went out after the leader, but the bird had flown after Boss Lane had got past Atmospherical. It had it beat. It was up to Telepathic to go out after it, as I say, but failed by 1 length, and it ran third, having the advantage of being on the fence and near the lead and leading Atmospherical, beaten 1.3, and the runner that was running in 5th position all the way, Turbulent Jet, it finished up running 4th. Law held on fairly ordinarily after having that good run in the one position. That was the meeting. Now, as I said, I say when the provincials are on, Hawkesbury, that beautiful meeting track up there at Clarendon, the train pulls right into the track, or it's on the expressway. It's a very, very easy drive up to Hawkesbury from the city or the surrounding districts, or up in the lower Blue Mountains, down to beautiful Hawkesbury tomorrow. So if you're grumble and grunting tomorrow, make sure you give your section every possible chance by coming to the track and betting with the Captain Cookies. I'm going to point out a lot of well, what am I saying? I'm going to talk about the I might do a special thing on YouTube on Monday or Tuesday, talking about the robots, how it's extremely unfair. If I don't do that, I might write a few lines and post it on my website. So if you would like to hear what I've got to say or read what I've got to say, you can tune in. Hope you did win if you were grumbling and grunting today or laying them. Good luck, everybody.